Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a wonderful day, a wonderful Wednesday. Today I'm continuing with my Mariah Carey discography journey, and we have made it to her ninth studio album from 2002 called Charmbracelet. I am really excited for this album in particular because I'm looking at the track list right now, and I don't think I've heard a single track off this album. Even before going on this Mariah Carey discography journey, I wasn't too familiar with this album. I knew about all her other albums, but I wasn't too familiar with this album. It wasn't an album that really stuck out to me. So looking at the track list, I don't recall hearing any of the songs, but like always, if I start listening to a song and it sounds familiar, I'll let you guys know. There are 15 tracks, so this is quite the long album, and it's 1 hour and 5 minutes. So let's just get right into it. I don't have much to say right now, so track number one, Through the Rain.
When you get caught in the rain, when you keep crying out to be saved, find your way home. You can get there alone. I can make it through the rain, so keep pressing on steadfastly. What you say, and I make it through the rain.
There we go.
On my own, and I know, and I make it through the rain. Gonna make it through the rain.
Okay, and that was track number one, Through the Rain. Wow. This was classic Mariah, those vocals at the halfway point. I mean, what is there to say? This was definitely a very powerful and meaningful song, just like so many of Mariah's ballads. This kind of reminded me of Hero when I was reading the lyrics. She's talking about I can make it through the rain. I can stand up once again on my own, and I know that I am strong enough to mend. And every time I feel afraid, I hold tighter to my faith. When you keep crying out to be saved, but nobody comes, and you feel so far away that you just can't find your way home, but you can get there alone. It's okay once you say, I can make it through the rain. And unfortunately, there are times in life where there won't be someone to help you, to grab your hand, to tell you it'll be okay. You'll get through this. Sometimes you kind of just have to rely on yourself, and you have to tell yourself and give yourself that confidence and that boost to weather through the storm and get through your problems. And I feel like it's even more rewarding in the end when you do it yourself, because you can look back and say, I did it on my own, and I did it. I didn't have to rely on anyone else. I got through the storm on my own. I got through the rain. I did it. And I will say it was interesting to have this as the first track on the album, because I don't recall hearing a Mariah Carey album where the first track was a ballad, except for her debut album. I'm trying to think back, and I don't think any of her other albums had a ballad as the opening track. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this one does, and I don't mind it. So far, we are off to a really good start. So let's move on to track number two, Boy, I Need You, featuring Cameron. Okay, so that was track number two, Boy, I Need You. You know what? I really liked this song. It was really catchy. I loved the production, and it got me bopping my head, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, honestly, I would choose this song over the whole first half of Glitter any day. I like the second half of Glitter to an extent, I believe. But I remember Not Carey for the first half of that album. Don't get me wrong, there were a few tracks on Glitter I did really enjoy, more so the ballads. I recall saying I really liked the ballads on that album. So let's move along to track number 3, The One.
This song for you. Baby, tell them what we talking about.
See, I'm going through a situation that I can't handle. Ooh, baby, tell what you got instead. I never found somebody that could be the one. But I promise myself that I would give in to you. 'Cause I know that you know. I never found somebody. Relationships in general is that it's always a game. I really wanna trust this feeling. You wouldn't let it pass me by. Baby, it's always so professional. This is my song that I would give in to you. I'm scared and I'm nervous. Just don't wanna be hurt.
Alrighty, and that was track number 3, The One. Yes, this was, guys, I'm kind of loving this album so far. I love the vibe I'm getting from it. The production is really consuming me right now, and these songs are catchy as hell, I will say, and they're just really solid, consistent songs so far. This one, I actually wouldn't mind if this song was a single. Track number 3, let's see what the singles were off this album. Through the Rain, Boy I Need You, and Bring It On The Heartbreak. There were only 3 singles released off this album. You know what? I feel like The One could have been a single. I thought it was really catchy. I love the beat on this song, and the production was really good. I definitely feel like this is more of a chill, relaxing Mariah album compared to her last prior albums like Glitter and Rainbow. This is definitely an album where you just kind of sit down and just relax to. So let's move on to track number 4, Yours.
You brighten up the moon and stars at night. I believe in miracles, baby, I'm forever yours. You surpass all my fantasy much, 'cause I know how it feels to be part of you, boy. The angels guiding you to me. You brighten up the moon and stars. I believe in miracles, baby, I'm forever
Okay, and that was track number 4, Yours. This was another really good song that I enjoy. I'm just loving the vibe I'm getting from this album compared to other albums I've listened from her in the past, like Glitter and Rainbow. I'm just loving this. And I hate using the word vibe. I just hate using that word, but I'm getting a vibe from this album. And I'm loving it. I just want to like relax right now. I just want to like lean back and just forget about the world listening to this album. And I love the lyrics, they're so cute. You bright up the moon and stars at night. You keep me seeing rainbows in the sky. You bring new meaning to my life. I mean, these are classic Mariah lyrics and they're so precious. However, I will say some of these tracks do tend to drag a little bit. This one in particular, track number 4, Yours, is over 5 minutes, and I don't know, I feel like I would have liked it even more if it was a bit shorter. I just feel like it kept going on and on and on. Don't get me wrong, I do like a good long track that's over 4 minutes or 5 minutes, but this one, I don't know, I wasn't feeling the longer length. But so far, 4 for 4, I've loved every track off this album so far. I've loved each of them equally. I don't think I like one more than the other. They're just solid in my opinion. So let's move on to track number 5, You Got Me. Now this is Mariah Carey, Jay-Z, and Freeway.
It's Mariah and Free. Just blaze beats. Silly fool, she know that I got her. I'll run up on the strip and go. Winnie the Pooh, long nights, let it chill with the crew.
Can't show you how it is. Don't know what to say and I don't know what to do. Tangled up in you, these feelings I just can't use.
Alrighty, so that was track number 5, You Got Me. This is such a 2002 song. I love it. One of the highlights for me on this album is the production. I love the beats. I love the overall production of this album. I just feel like it's been very consistent, and I'm definitely, once again, you're gonna use this word, I'm definitely vibing with this album. And there were a couple lines in the lyrics that made me smile and smirk. In particular, this one, you just like honey, so she got me like Winnie the Pooh. Yes. So let's move on to track number 6, I Only Wanted.
Doesn't it ever stay? Must it always fade away? I only wanted you to stay, linger and mean the words you say, to be there when I open up my eyes. I only wanted you to stay. Honestly, I romanticize. I only wanted you to stay. I wanted you to be there when I open up.
Alrighty, and that was track number 6, I Only Wanted. Well, we're just continuing the bop trade, aren't we? This was another great, solid song. I'm really loving the ballads on this album so far. This one and Through the Rain. I mean, I feel like some of the best ballads she's had in a while. And I don't know if it's just me, but I'm getting music box vibes from this album. For some reason, when I listen to some of these tracks, I'm just thinking back to her Music Box album. Another theme I'm picking up on this album, I don't know if it's intentional or not, is the theme of water. Through the Rain, track number 1, but also track number 6, I Only Wanted. If you listen to the production, there is the dripping of water and also waves crashing against the shore. So I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if I'm reaching here. I mean, we all know the allegory behind what water symbolizes. It's, you know, washing away our sins, it's washing away our insecurities, it's being cleansed of something. And once again, I don't know, maybe I'm reaching here, but listening to this album for the first time and reading the lyrics and listening to the sounds and the production, it's just kind of what I'm picking up. So let's move on to track number 7, Cloud.
I should've never listened to your awful story. Who's gonna love you when your bankroll runs out? The star of the show isn't you anymore. Nobody cares when the tears of clown fall down. I gotta make it do you delicately to me. The puppet show and a little white sound. Still alone and cry. Lonesome, still just a thrill. She's gonna love you when it all falls down. The star of the show isn't you anymore. Nobody cares when the tears of clown fall down. Nobody cares just nobody cares when the tears of the clown fall down. Your mama never taught you love goes around, comes back around.
Alrighty, and that was track number 7, Cloud, and wow, this is quite the interesting song. I really enjoyed the lyrics, I will say. Nobody cares when the tears of a cloud fall down. I gotta break it to you delicately, dummy. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Mariah might be in a negative mindset when she wrote and recorded this album. I'm just not getting fun vibes like I did with Glitter and Rainbow and even Butterfly. I feel like she might not be in a happy place when she recorded this album. And obviously there was the whole fiasco with Glitter and her mentality and the drama in her life. So though I'm really enjoying this album, I feel like something is missing. And I had to do it. I had to search up what people were saying when this album was released and how the professional critics were rating it. And I don't have good news for you guys. Overwhelmingly, the response was mixed, leaning towards negative. There's lots of 2 out of 5, 2 out of 5, unfavorable, unfavorable, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 10. I mean, I honestly don't think this album is as bad as these critics are making it out to be. I mean, a lot of the complaints these critics are having is that, I mean, one person says her voice is damaged, and there's lots of moody songs, and there aren't a lot of catchy hooks like there were on her prior albums, you know, like Rainbow, and there's no fantasy on here. And it's like, who fucking cares? She did all that shit already. Like, why does she need to keep releasing all these mega hooks? You know, Fantasy and Heartbreaker. I mean, she doesn't need to do that all the time. However, a lot of people are criticizing her voice and that it's not as good as it used to be in her earlier work. And no shit, obviously her voice wouldn't be up to par as it used to be. And I don't know, is this the beginning stages of her voice not being as good as it once was? Going forward, will we not get the whistle register like we used to? And will her voice gradually start to deteriorate with each album she releases? Do you know what? I don't care what they have to say. I've enjoyed this album. And no, there's no fantasy on here. There's no butterfly. But honestly, it's still a good, solid album. And I enjoy listening to it. So let's move on to track number 8, My Saving Grace.
But at least I know you can face with no one inside. Shine on me, giving me peace, giving me strength, because you keep me safe. I found my saving grace. My saving grace, Lord, you.
Okay, and that was track number 8, My Saving Grace, and she was definitely serving some great vocals on this track, as you just heard. So I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but I feel like her voice is still fine. I don't know what these critics are saying when they say that she's lost her touch and her voice isn't up to par like it used to. I mean, is it as good as it used to be? I don't know. Like, I have to go back and listen to some of her albums, but I feel like it's still fine. I mean, this isn't the happiest album in the world. It is making me a bit somber and sad. There isn't a track on this album so far that I dislike. Every track so far has been solid and great, in my opinion. Are these songs as memorable as the songs on a lot of her other albums? No, I don't think they're as memorable, but they're still worthy of a listen, and I would definitely listen to this album again. It's not an album that will get you up on your feet. It might not be even an album that will get your body moving and make you feel happy, but I feel like this is still a solid Mariah Carey album. And to be honest, I would choose this album over Glitter and Rainbow any day. I did like Rainbow to an extent. I was 50-50 on it. Glitter, the majority of it I didn't care for, but this one I would definitely choose over those two albums. But anyway, let's move on to track number 9, You Had Your Chance.
MC. Oh, so dead.
Well, it's been a while since I looked into your eyes for the so-called love of my life. But you didn't love me. We used to be best friends. Took so long to forget all the little things we shared. You were devious and shady, only trifling with me. No, you couldn't trust me. It took so long to forget. After my heart, it can suffer.
This is probably my least favorite track on the album. It fit in with the rest of the album. It sounded like the rest of the album, but I didn't think this song was very memorable. I don't know if it would be a song I'll go back to. I don't know, I feel like out of the 9 tracks I've listened to so far, the first 8 I enjoy. There are a couple I enjoy more than others, like always, but this one, track number 9, I feel like might be at the bottom of my favorite tracks. So let's move on to track number 10, Lullaby.
Just wanna get goodbye, but I just can't resist. One more time, yes, I'll come on with it. Feels good here by your side, but I just can't walk away from paradise. One more time, yes, I'll come on with it. Just wanna get goodbye, but I just can't walk away from paradise. So say lullaby.
Okay, and that was track number 10, Lullaby. I thought this song had a catchy hook. I was bopping my head. So I enjoyed it. It's not one of my favorites on the album, but I was feeling it. I will say that hook kind of does get stuck in your head. So let's move on to track number 11, Irresistible, Westside Connection.
Yeah, ain't no hiding from this hit. On the real, on the real. Ooh, faux hopping, sad dropping, keep it popping, ain't no stopping.
This sounds like a Snoop Dogg song.
Nothing can save you from this young rider with big wheels and paper. We got us deeper than the physical. Love seeking Mariah, gangsta love is irresistible.
I'm so consuming, you don't know what to do.
Okay, and that was track number 11, Irresistible, Westside Connection. Yes, I really enjoyed this song. It was a lot of fun to listen to. It was a nice change up from all the more somber sounding songs on the album. I also enjoy the rapping in this song, so 2 thumbs up. Let's move on to track number 12, Subtle Invitation.
It's hard to tell somebody if they really need me, baby. Just reach out and touch me. What can I say? If you really need me, baby, just reach out and touch me. Baby, just reach out and touch me. Don't hesitate to call me.
Oh my god. Okay, and that was track number 12, Subtle Invitation. Oh my god, that last minute or so when she was just... Oh my god, that her voice at that very end there was so... Oh my god, I don't even know how to explain it. She was so emotional. It's like it was borderline shrieking because she was so passionate and emotional about what she was singing. And I love the jazzy feel to this track. I like how it's more jazz inspired. In the beginning, I was kind of unsure about it. I was 50-50. Do I like the song or do I not like it? But by the end of it, I feel like I still like it, but I don't know if it would be a song I would go back to. I feel like it would be, maybe. I don't know, like always I have to give this album a second listen to form a more concrete opinion on it. Anyway, let's move on to track number 13, Bringing On The Heartbreak.
Gypsy, sitting looking pretty. Oh, can't you see you got the best of me? Bringing on the heart, taking all the best of me. Oh, can't you see you're bringing on the heartbreak?
Already, and that was track number 13, Bringing On The Heartbreak. And I enjoyed the song. It was a power ballad, and it kind of reminded me of a song Celine Dion would sing, and I liked it. It might be one of my favorite tracks on the album. I don't know. I'll definitely have to, like I said before, I have to listen to this album again to form a second opinion. It's a little unfortunate though because this was released as the third single, and I'm reading that this song, Bringing On The Heartbreak, and track number 2, Boy, I Need You, didn't even crack the Billboard Hot 100. Which for a Mariah Carey song, that must have been devastating. I feel like all of her singles up until now must have reached the Billboard Hot 100 to some degree. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I feel like this might be a bit of a shock that some of the singles on this album didn't even crack the Billboard Hot 100. It's not the greatest ballad Mariah has ever released. I definitely don't feel like it's worthy of being a number 1, but I definitely feel like it's worthy of at least cracking the Billboard Hot 100. But anyway, let's move on to the final track of the album. Track number 14, Sunflowers for Alfred Roy. There is still track number 15, Through the Rain. It's a remix featuring Kelly Price and Joe. I don't know if I'll listen to it on camera. I am getting a little tired. When I film these first listen videos, I'm sitting on a yoga ball, and it gets very tiring after a while. My ass is in pain right now. Like, it's so sore. I shouldn't even have said that. Anyway, let's move on to track number 14, Sunflowers for Alfred Roy.
Shining like a sunflower up in the sky. As a child that always woman. Please be at peace, Father. I'm at peace with you. Thank you for the mountains, the lake of cloud. Grip tightly to my hand. Thanks for reaching out lovingly. Needed to hear that song. I needed to feel that so desperately.
Okay, so that was track number 14, Sunflowers for Alfred Roy. And after listening to the song, I did have to look up who Alfred Roy was. I was assuming that it was her father, because she does say father in the song. But in music, I mean, something so blatant and obvious can mean many different things. So I just wanted to be sure, and it is her father. Alfred Roy Carey is of African Venezuelan descent. Alfred's father was an African Venezuelan. Okay. So it is her father. And this was a very, very touching song, especially at the end when she says, Father, thanks for reaching out and lovingly say that you've always been proud of me. I needed to feel that so desperately. And speaking for myself, I've always wanted my parents to be proud of me. I've always wanted my dad to be proud of me. And not hearing those words from my own father still hurts me to an extent because there is history there, what have you, that I don't want to get into. But everyone wants to feel like they did their parents proud. And just hearing from a dad or a mom, or, you know, someone who raised you, hearing them say, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of the person you became, honestly, it changes your world. And for somebody like myself who hasn't heard that, it does sting a little bit. She's saying, thank you for the mountains, the lake of the clouds. I'm picturing you and me there right now as the crystal cascades showered down. This is pure poetry, and it's absolutely beautiful. So that is Charmbracelet by Mariah Carey. All 14 tracks. And I enjoyed this album. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. It's not what I expected. I didn't know what to expect going into this album. It's a more somber sounding album. It's not as happy. She seems a bit down. She seems a bit sad, and one can understand that if you know what she's gone through over the last couple years at this time period. She wasn't in the best state of mind. I imagine she was just you know, I can only imagine what she was going through. So this isn't the happiest record, but there are a lot of good tracks on here. I like the production. I feel like she was playing around with a lot of different sounds. I heard the electric guitar. She was playing around with jazz at one point. I don't know, I feel like Mariah didn't make this album to be the next Daydream or Butterfly. I feel like she just wanted to make an album for the sake of making an album. I feel like there aren't a lot of great singles on here. There's a couple, but nothing stands out compared to her prior albums when it comes to single material. I like the sounds, I like the production, I liked her voice on this album. I feel like it sounded pretty good. I don't think the lyrics are as memorable as the lyrics in some of her prior albums. And I will say, I definitely prefer the first half to this album to the second half. So at the end of the day, I don't think this is as bad an album as a lot of the music critics are making it out to be. Like I said, it's no Daydream, it's no Butterfly, but at the same time, I feel like it has a lot of meaning, and she was in a very... Just from reading the lyrics and listening to the production, it sounds like she was in a very insecure and hurtful place. I don't know, just listening to her voice, I just get the sense that she wasn't very happy. I definitely have to give this album another listen to form a more concrete opinion. But what did you guys think of this album? How does it compare to all her other albums? Maybe you didn't like it as much as I did. Maybe you think this is a horrible album. Maybe you think it's one of her best. What was it like when this album came out? Maybe there's a better perspective for those of you who were around to appreciate her music at this time in 2002. I was still in elementary school, so I wasn't listening to Mariah Carey, you know, so maybe a lot of you who were fans of her back in the day when this album came out, how are people reacting to it? So as a whole, I feel like this is a solid Mariah Carey album. So I think that's all I wanted to say. And next we will be moving on to, are you ready for it? It celebrated its 15th anniversary this year. A little known album, you might have heard of it, I don't know, The Emancipation of Mimi. It's very indie. I mean, a lot of people consider it her worst album. I'm so fucking kidding. It's considered the crown jewel of her career, honestly. A lot of people hype it up. A lot of people love it. Even to this day, they call it her greatest achievement. Even Mariah Carey thinks it's one of her best, if not her best album. So I have heard a few tracks off that album, but more so the singles. Of course I heard them. Everyone did. When I was in junior high, they were all over the place. See, I'm already excited for that album. So I'll be listening to that album next week. So be excited for that because I am. So thanks for watching, guys.
Find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can message me, you can tell me other artists I should check out. I'm open to any artists from any decade. You can find me on Apple Music, you can check out my playlist and what I'm listening to right now.
Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.